What up guys, Dirty D-Man here, and today I'm going to show you gameplay of the Anthem beta that I played last weekend. And in this video I'm going to show you all 4 of the different classes or types of Javelins there are in this game. And I'll talk about some of their abilities and what they're good at and what they're not good at. So if that interests you, then keep watching this video. Alright, so with the first class guys, I'm going to start off with the Ranger class. From what I've read about, the Ranger is like the first Javelin you get when you start playing the game. So I guess everyone's going to have this. Like, I guess at the beginning of the game, you don't get to pick what class you want to be. You just start off with the basic Ranger class. Now, the different abilities that this Ranger has, and there's like in their abilities you can change their abilities as well. Like you can have cluster grenades, you can have sticky grenades, you can have fire grenades, and then with your support kind of thing you can either do like a bubble or some other thing where I think it's like one's like a bubble where it just takes a ton of damage, and then the other one's like a power buff, so if you're in the bubble you do more damage, stuff like that. Right here you can see I have the fire grenades on me right now. I think I have the bubble where as long as you're in it you do more damage, and then his other ability is he can shoot like a rocket out of his arm that does some damage. Since I've played all 4 types of Javelins in this game, I would say the Ranger class is like my least favorite. I mean, it's not a bad class. I can see the potential in it. And again, you're level capped and all that. So who knows, maybe once you get a higher level, it becomes more powerful. But from playing it, it didn't seem that powerful to me. The other classes outmatched the Ranger class by far, in my opinion. So they got a good variety of weapons in this game. Right here you can see I have a sniper rifle, and I think I got a burst auto rifle, but they also got an auto rifle, they got a light machine gun, shotguns, pistols that you can use, and like a grenade launcher, and probably some other ones that I can't think of right now, but they're all pretty useful. So one thing you need to get used to is not overheating your boost or whatever it's called, your jets, because it takes a really long time for it to recharge or cool down. So what I usually do is whenever I'm flying around, I wait until it's just about to overheat, and then I hit X to land or whatever. So right here I'm using my one of my abilities, and I'm pretty sure this is the bubble that once you're in it you do extra damage to the enemies, so it's really good to have, I think. But like I said before, there's other ones. I'm not sure how many other ones there are, but I think there's another one that's just a shield that takes a ton of damage before it goes away. So right here I'm trying to show you how much damage the sniper rifle does. It seems to be really effective against turrets, but versus enemies it seems kind of weak. But again, it just might because it's a low level sniper rifle, I'm not really sure. So right here I finally got my super, or I've had it before, but I use it more effectively right here, because what you want to do is try to get behind these enemies, especially those shielded guys. They take a lot of damage, and if you hit them from the front you're not going to do that much damage to them. But if you can somehow get around them and get behind them, you'll do a lot more damage to them with your super. I do like the movement in this game. It's pretty good, especially when you're flying around. There's nothing like it. The only thing that I do hate is just when you're running around, to say you overheat your boosters and you have to run, you just move really slowly, and I just don't like it. But, that's just my opinion. So as you can see right here guys, I kind of get stuck right here, and I didn't find too many bugs like this where I got stuck somewhere and I couldn't move. But the beta was kind of riddled with infinite loading screens. You get booted out of missions that you're doing, and you lose all your gear that you get and your XP, so you have to redo it. It was kind of annoying for the most part. So it is a beta though, and you can't really expect too much from a beta. Like there's gonna be bugs and stuff like that. You just hope when the game actually comes out that they have most of these issues fixed, because if not, people are going to be really upset with EA and really annoyed at playing this game, because you don't want to get stuck in the infinite load screen, and you don't want to lose all your progress either. So right here, guys, this is where you kind of go underwater, and I really like this feature in this game, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be too much exploring around underwater. I don't think you can even fight underwater. I think it's just a way to get to one place to another. I think that's pretty much it. So if you want to know what this game feels like and plays like, it's like Destiny 2 and Warframe got together and they had a baby, and the baby is Anthem. It definitely doesn't have the great aiming and gunplay, the gun feel that Destiny has. It more resembles Warframe in the aiming and the jumping around and stuff like that. And that's why this game isn't going to have PvP, because it'll just be awkward. I think, I don't know how. It might be good, who knows, but or it could be good, I should say. But they're not going to have it in this game, which is, a really big deal, because if you're just relying on PvE types of stuff for your game, then you're going to have to really have a lot of things to do and a lot of different things to do. Not doing the same thing over and over, just on a harder difficulty. That's going to get boring. So I really hope Anthem has a lot of content to it at the beginning, and really gives us a lot of material to work with later on, because again, you can only grind the same thing over and over for so much before you get bored of it. And I'm not saying Anthem is a bad game. I don't know yet. It's just a beta, but I will say, from playing it, I really did enjoy it and have a lot of fun with it, with trying out the different types of javelins that are in this game. So right here, guys, the game bugged out. Once you get to this part where you have to stand on it's like a control point, you just have to stand on it and let it power up to finish the level. But usually bugs spawn right here. But they didn't spawn this time, so we just had to sit there and wait until it finished doing whatever it needed to do. And then right there, guys, every time you complete something like that, you get a chest, and then you get engrams from it. And then at the end of the game, in the loading screen, you get to see what kind of items you've got. So right here, I'm just showing you, this is like the end of the only mission that you could do once you completed all the story missions, or just basic missions, I don't know. And right here, this really was a good and an intense boss fight. At the end here, there's just bugs everywhere, so it gets really hard to shoot at the boss because you have bugs coming from all angles. So you have to deal with them, and then you still have to deal with the big spider. And I had, a lot of fun playing this mission. Alright, let's move on to the next Javelin that you can play as. This is the Colossus, and it's basically your tank character in the game, but also he has great firepower to him. He has a mortar thing that you can shoot at people, this heavy or this powerful rocket, I guess, I'm not really sure, that does a ton of damage. As well, which I'll show you in a second. He also has this, I guess it's like a Gatling gun kind of deal, and he can also have a grenade launcher as well, which I'll show you that in a second. But right now, I'm going to show you how this is the mortar that I was talking about. It does okay damage, and then this is like the rocket, and it does a ton of damage if you power it up. And his other ability, you know how the Ranger had that bubble he could pop out that would either protect them or do extra damage if you're inside it? He has one where you can aim it at the enemies and they'll all focus you, and instead of shooting at your other allies, they'll all focus on you, which is kind of cool. And he has another one, but I just can't think of what it was right now. But like I said before, like, you can change your abilities up. Like, you can, like, the mortar thing I have, you can, like, I guess it can be a different type of mortar. Like, I'm not really sure what type, but it could be like a fire mortar or maybe an ice mortar. I'm not really sure. And then with your rocket, you can change that up as well. It can be something different. I can't think of what it is right now. But with all your abilities, you can change them up to, I guess, for different scenarios or just for your whatever you prefer. Alright guys, so right here I'm going to show you the grenade launcher that I had. I think it's very useful. I think it does a good amount of damage. It's better for a big group of enemies than, you know, a single enemy like I'm dealing damage to right there. But I really liked the grenade launcher. I thought it was very useful and I really enjoyed it. So right there I'm using my L and R1 ability, and it's called the Shield Pulse. I'm not really sure what it does, but maybe it's where I can take extra damage. I'm not really sure. So some of the things that are annoying about the Colossus is his movement's really slow. Again, he's a big heavy machine, so it's going to be slow. And the reload time for his weapons is really long too, and that can become annoying as well. Especially if you have like enemies right on you, you're trying to reload and then they hit you and you know you just can't reload. And this is a super right here. I kind of mess up right here, but if you spam it, you can shoot like 3 times instead of 2 like I did. Another thing that I'm not sure of, like I said before, you can like change all your abilities, but I'm not sure if you're able to change what your super is. You might be able to, but in the beta they didn't have that. You just had the supers you had. But I think that'd be really cool if they had different supers as well. But again, we have to wait and see. Alright, and again right here, I'm just showing you how effective he is again with taking out these turrets. Again, just like 2 shots with his mortar and his powered up missile. Really does a lot of damage. And then right here again, like I said before, look at this reload time. It's just crazy long. That's what I was talking about before. It can become annoying like at the end of this mission where there's all those bugs coming out towards the end of fighting that big spider. Like I had a lot of trouble trying to reload because, you know, enemies were hitting me and then that would cancel out my reload. And right here guys, I'm just showing you how effective the grenade launcher is in this game, especially if the enemies are grouped up together. It's a useful weapon, I think. Unlike in Destiny 2, which they have grenade launchers and I never really got into them. I don't really like them in Destiny. So right here I'm using my super on these tank guys. Again, I mess up because you can see right here I keep trying to shoot this one guy. I get 3 shots off, but he has his shield up, so I don't do any damage to him. So you really need to outflank these guys and get behind them and then like do your super, so you can kill them that way. So right here guys, I finally figured out that this Colossus has a shield he can pull out if you hold down circle, which I didn't realize right away until I got to this point and accidentally held down circle because I was trying to get him to flip around when he was flying around. But instead it pulled out a shield, which I guess again allows you to take more damage and go head on into the enemies if you want to. So they're again focusing all their firepower on you, while your teammates can do damage to the enemies without getting shot at. So right here I'm just testing out the shield to see what you can do with it, and again you can it allows you to take more damage. You can do melee if you want to with it, but it takes half of your shield away, so you might not want to do that. Now, I'm not sure, like, if you can change that shield up to something else. Maybe you can, but in the beta, I guess you just had that shield, or is this part of that Javelin? Alright, let's move on to the next Javelin. This is the Storm, and he's basically your Warlock, if you ever play Destiny. But with this type of Javelin, you can choose what element you want to be. You can either be fire, or you have to get the mod that allows you to choose what you want, but you can either be electricity, fire, like I said before, or ice. And right here I chose, I didn't really choose, but like I said before, you have to get the mods, and I had a lightning mod and a fire other mod for my other ability, so that's what I chose. Alright, so and the other guy I was playing with was a Storm character as well, and he seemed to have the ice abilities, as you can see right there. If you tap R1, you can shoot like 5 little balls of ice, but if you hold it down, you can charge it up and shoot like one big blast at an enemy, like you're going to see me do right here. Again, it didn't do a ton of damage to that shielded guy, but maybe it's just because he has a shield, and then once you take his shield down, and then you can do a lot of damage to him, I'm guessing. The weapons I'm using for this character right here, you can see it's a shotgun. It does okay damage, as you can see right here, but it doesn't seem to be overpowering. But maybe that's because I'm facing a shielded guy right there. And I have the assault burst rifle as well. So right here, I'm going to again use my lightning ability over there, and then charge up my R1 ability, and you can see it did a good amount of damage to those weaker enemies for sure. Again, with this tank guy that I'm facing, again, you never want to face them head on. You want to try to get around them and get behind them if you can, and then that way you can do a lot more damage, like I'm going to right here. Boom, it does a lot more damage than if I was just facing them. But I've said that before, so it's nothing new. Alright, so right here I'm going to do my super for the first time. Now, I thought you could maybe change your elements up, like see how there's ice, lightning, and then fire. But I think it's just in that order no matter what, and you can't just pick lightning over and over. But as you can see right there, it just did a ton of damage. And now I jump to the third part of this mission, where you have to keep control of this area. And again, I'm doing my super again, just so you guys can see how devastating it is to a large group of common enemies, I guess. Okay, now we're at the boss, and again, I just want to show you what his super does to the boss. As you can see right there, it doesn't really do too much damage to the boss, but it wasn't too bad. But again, I think it's more effective on this group of enemies is not really made for the boss. I think the Colossus is more made for the boss, doing more damage to him. But I gotta say, this Storm Javelin is one of my favorite characters so far. So this is the last Javelin you get to play, the Interceptor. And right here, I'm just showing you how you can customize it. And I will be going through this like really fast. If you want to see it in more detail, again, you can just pause it. But right here, I went with the pistol, and I went with the assault rifle. And then with this ability, it nullifies like status effects on your teammates. And then that's like a kick that you can do. And then this is like the mods that you can either help, like if you have a pistol, your pistol will do more damage, and it'll also give you more armor or health for your character. And then right here, guys, I'm just showing you the different color schemes you can go through if you want to customize your character, which you didn't have to pay anything for, which I really like. So again, this is the interceptor. Right here I'm showing you the handgun that I have, and it does, you can see it does a good amount of damage to the characters that I shoot, and it does even more damage because I have that mod on that gives me like special ammo for my pistol. I would say between the Storm and the Javelin, those are like my two favorite, and then the Colossus is my third favorite, and then the Ranger is my fourth. But between the Storm and this one, the Interceptor, they're both really good. The Interceptor is excellent. It's definitely a melee character, which I'll show you in a minute. Your best bet is just to, you don't even use your weapons, you just go up and just melee enemies, and they can't really damage you, like especially if you get up on one and start meleeing, they can't really touch you for some reason. Alright, so right here I'm going to show you what I like to do with the gun turrets. Again, I just like to rush at them and then just melee them to death, just because they can't shoot you when they're right there. They're not shooting other enemies because they're trying to look at you. Maybe they'll fix that, I'm not really sure. But again, you just do a ton of damage. I mean, it took them, you know, a couple seconds there to kill them, but again, if all you're doing is spamming triangle, then, you know, that's not really a big deal, in my opinion. I think, like I said before, I'm going to do it again right here to this gun turret. I just rush them, and I just keep tapping triangle over and over until it's dead. So again, his L and R1 ability is, again, it nullifies status effects on your allies. So if they're on fire and they're in range of it, they won't be on fire anymore. He also has a blade that he can throw that does a lot of damage, but you can also have mines if you want to. And then his R1 ability is like a kicking ability, which does a ton of damage as well. So you know, those are really cool abilities. But again, like I said, you can change your abilities to other things as well. That's just the ones that I chose for this character. And right here, I'm just showing you how fast this character flies. It's definitely the fastest character you have in the game so far. So right here I'm going to show you his super. What his super is just you get two blades out and you just do a ton of damage, and you can't take damage, like you're immune to damage. So you can just really go into, especially these heavy tank guys, and they can't do any damage to you, and you can just do a ton of damage to them. This super is like one of my favorites for sure. Again, right here, I'm going to show you my super again, just to show you that you're not taking any damage, and you're just dealing so much damage to these other characters, or other enemies, I guess. Alright, so right here again, I'm going to do my super and just show you guys what it does to a boss. Now, it's really effective against this boss just because you can go, you know, right under him, and it kind of trips him up, so he can't really move anywhere. And then your other teammates can just keep shooting them in the back while you keep making them fall down. So it's really effective against this boss. You're not going to do too much damage, but with your, you know, your teammates, if they're in the right position, they will be able to do a lot more damage with you doing that. And then again, right here, this is another thing that I like to do. Whenever, like, the boss, the spider, will, you know, run up to the ceiling and hide, and then all these ads will come out. And I just like to rush them and just melee them over and over. Now, you will take damage, but for the most part, if you keep spamming triangle, you can just keep attacking them, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about a ton of ads everywhere when you're trying to face the boss. So for my final thoughts on the game, it is just a beta and there were bugs. But again, it's a beta, so you can expect that. So hopefully when the game comes out, they have all that fixed. I think it has a lot of potential to be a really good game if they put in the time and effort to put in the content, because a PvE type of game really needs a lot of content for you to do to keep you satisfied, and that's really hard to do in any kind of game. So we'll have to wait and see, but again, I'm definitely getting this game. I really enjoyed the beta. I'm sure that I know there's another beta coming out in February that will be open to everybody, but that's going to do it for me, guys. If you like this video, give it a like, follow if you want, and I'll check you guys out later.